Hey guys, it's Dragon Ball for Life here today, and I'm back with another video. Now, today's video, I want to talk about something that I've always wanted to see, and I've always thought about, how cool it would be to see in real life, and that is a crossover between Dragon Ball and DC, the DC universe. I think a crossover between those two would be pretty cool. Now, usually when people talk about Dragon Ball and DC in the same sentence, they're usually talking about who would win in a fight, like Goku versus Superman, and I have engaged in that conversation quite a bit before, but personally, I think what would be a lot cooler instead of seeing them fight would be to see, how these characters would interact with each other, how they would think about, one another, and, how it would blend, these two universes. And crossovers in general are not that uncommon. We see it throughout all forms of media. In comic books, we've had crossovers with DC and Marvel. In anime, we've had crossovers between other animes and mangas, and we have seen in those side. Though we haven't seen too many crossovers between anime slash manga and comic books. The only one that I can really remember off the top of my head was the Attack on Titan slash Marvel crossover that we saw. And Marvel has quite a bit of, connections with anime because they did have like an Avengers and X-Men anime out there, and I think also Blade anime, which is pretty cool that that Marvel acknowledges not only the popularity of anime but also want to get into it, and I respect that. I admire that they do that. And Stanley even made an anime manga himself or something like that, or an anime manga type character, and there's also a manga Spider-Man or something. They have made strides to connect to the anime slash manga community. They hopefully in the future it gets bigger, but at least they've tried, which I really commend them for that. But DC, they haven't really done that, which is kind of sad to me because I do like DC. I do like Marvel more than DC, but I do think that DC has a lot of cool characters and a lot of cool stuff that could connect and match with anime very well. And I think out of all the fictional universes in anime, that would have the best chance of making a crossover with DC would definitely be Dragon Ball. I mean, especially since people compare Goku and Superman very similarly a lot, even though I don't think that they're the same character. They're significantly different characters compared to each other, but it's still cool to see the comparisons and see people trying to connect them. And sadly, in real life, we haven't seen any connections. Hopefully, in the future, we could. That would be amazing. If I hear some announcement in the future, like there's going to be a Dragon Ball slash DC crossover, I would lose my mind. I would be like, that is hella dope. So that's something that I've always wanted. And some people might not like it because I remember when they did the Attack on Titan slash Marvel crossover, a couple of people got mad. For Neverworld was one of those people. He has another channel, for Neverworld News. I always have trouble saying the name for his channel, but yeah, big shout outs to that guy. In his channel, I remember, I think it was like years ago, he talked about how he didn't like this crossover because they kind of made the Titans from Attack on Titan seem very weak because everybody from Marvel was beating them, all the heroes were beating them, and he said, it's okay of the heavier hitters are beating them, but why are even the weaker characters like Spider-Man beating them? Which I didn't agree with him on that because if you've read Marvel, Marvel comics and Spider-Man comics, you know Spider-Man is insanely powerful. He could take out dinosaurs with his punches, so I'm pretty sure he could, take out Titans. Though I do think he would have struggled a little more than what they possibly shown through there. But yeah, that was the only crossover between anime and comic books that I've seen, like an actual crossover, and DC hasn't done that. Though DC has done some stuff with manga or anime, I guess you can say. They have tried to make some strides with connecting with that. Like for example, I think it was Ninja Batman movie. It was basically, the movie was the production of it and the designs and stuff was built off of I think the guys who made JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and stuff, and a couple of other big name studios and companies that made other animes, and they made that one. And personally, I didn't really like it. I thought it was kind of stupid. I didn't like the whole mech stuff and the kaiju fight. I didn't really like that, but I was at least still happy that DC was trying to make some strides and connections to anime. So I thought that was cool, but I really didn't like that Batman Ninja movie anyway. And apparently there was another one that they did. They did an anime of Batgirl and Catwoman, which I never saw. I just saw somebody do a review on it, and it didn't look that good to me. So even though they haven't been really doing that well, with the crossovers with anime, it's still cool to see them having some connection. So that was cool to see. But besides that, the only other stuff that I've seen close to them having connections to anime is some references. And I want to focus on some of the Dragon Ball references that I have seen. Now, one of them that I remember, and quite a bit of people talked about when it came out, was there was this one point in DC Comics where they're having this whole big shift where they're going to change the universe, and they had these celestial giant, like, powerful beings, and one of them was the name was Forager, and this guy basically trapped Superman in the sixth dimension where there was no sunlight for him to get, though there were countless other stars. They were just far away, and he was using the stars light energy to power himself up, and as he was getting more and more powerful, he was able to bust out of the sixth dimension and punch the Forager. But as he was getting ready to punch him and clocking back, the illustrator drew not only Superman, but his father on the top and his son on the bottom, which is Superboy. He drew them as he was about to punch, as he punched the World Forger. And this was supposed to be a homage or a tribute to Dragon Ball Z itself, with the father-son Kamehameha. Sorry, I can't pronounce that word. That Goku and Gohan did in the Cell fight, and in Gohan and Goten did against Bio Broly. So that was a homage by the illustrators for Dragon Ball. So the illustrator literally himself stated that they got an inspiration from Dragon Ball and the father-son Kamehameha. Sorry, it's an anime that I've watched countless times, but I still can't pronounce the fucking name. I'm very bad at pronouncing some words, but yeah. That was homage to that, so that was pretty cool. And then another one that was a little bit more on the nose was in this one Flash comic where I think Flash was having some problems with his power, where he was getting into this crazy super powered mode where he couldn't control it. And one of the scientists was talking to him. He's like, so you basically went Super Saiyan. They literally mentioned Super Saiyan, which blew me away. I'm like, wow, they really mentioned Super Saiyan. So that was pretty cool to see. They mentioned Super Saiyan, and it was even cooler because now it made that term, going Super Saiyan even more popular. And it just showcases how popular that term is, because we as fans and people use that term all the time when we have like a character going into a super powered form, or especially when they get golden form and they go all out. We're saying they went Super Saiyan. So to see DC using that same terminology for one of their characters is also pretty cool, saying that the Flash went Super Saiyan. That's pretty dope. So I really like that. A couple of other references I've seen, two of them that I've seen in live action was in the Titans show. You have Beast Boy wearing a Toei shirt, which is, the parent company that owns Dragon Ball and, One Piece and countless other, anime IPs. But Dragon Ball is definitely one of their biggest. So it was cool that he had that on. And then there was another interpretation with, Dragon Ball once again in a live action one. Oh yeah, it was in the Flash show. In the Flash show, Barry Allen lost his memories, and he was talking to Iris, and he asked her, he's like, what is Dragon Ball Z? She's like, I don't know, but you really love it. You talk about it all the time. He's like, oh, okay. So they mentioned the fact that Barry Allen actually loves, he loves Dragon Ball Z. At that time, he lost his memories due to something, I forgot what it was, but he lost his memories, but from what we know, Barry Allen is also a Dragon Ball Z fan, so that's pretty cool that they mentioned it and referenced it. And another one, I would say the last one that I know of was in the I think it was called I forgot what it was called, Super Sons or something like that. It was basically a comic book of Batman and Superman's son in it. It was basically about them, and it was about Superboy and Robin. I forgot what the name of his Batman son was. I know his name, but I forgot it. But yeah, they were basically in it. And what happened was, in one image you see in their room, there's a poster on the wall of Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, in their room they have a poster of Dragon Ball Z, which was pretty cool in my opinion. So those are just a couple of instances where we see either a mention or some hint to Dragon Ball and DC. And in Dragon Ball we've seen less of it, but we do kind of see a little bit of similarities, like for Toriyama in his Dr. Slump manga, he has a character named Sour Man who is a parody of Superman, and he's very short and he's built like him. And he was shown a little bit in Dragon Ball when they get to Penguin Village with General Blue and Goku. So we see him there. Also, from what I've heard, I don't know if this is true, they said the Galactic Patrol was supposed to be built off of and designed off of the Green Lantern Corps from DC. So that was also pretty cool to see that he had that. And then people always connected saying Superman and Goku's backstories are the same, which I never really agreed with. But when we got the whole, Dragon Ball Minus, Toriyama kind of basically retconned it and made his backstory to a Superman-esque backstory with, a dying planet and a loving parent sending him off to Earth to save his life. Whereas in the original, he was sent there just to wipe it out because he was too weak, and it was just part of it. And them getting blown up was whatever. So that's the closest that we've seen. So we really haven't seen a crossover, but I would love to see a crossover. And what I would expect from this crossover, personally, I think it would make more sense for the Dragon Ball characters to end up in the DC universe, because the DC universe is a lot bigger than the Dragon Ball universe with the amount of stuff they have in there. And it'll be, Dragon Ball universe is a lot more wackier than DC universe, because they have humanoid creatures that are walking around. You have a lot more randomly crazy magical stuff. Even though DC can get crazy, most of the times the DC universe and the Earth there are pretty normal and pretty tame, minus the supervillain stuff. Whereas Dragon Ball, it can be very weird and outlandish. So I think the setting would be far better in DC. And the way I would do this would be to have a villain from Dragon Ball who's super powerful and has the ability to not only travel through time, but travel through dimensions, and he has the ability to travel through other alternate or parallel worlds, and he ends up in the DC universe. So he's planning on wiping out all these superpowered beings and wants to take them out, and he sees Dragon Ball and the DC universe as having some of the most powerful beings and being the best challenges for him. So he wants to wipe them out. So the best way he does is by trying to get the Dragon Ball characters and the DC characters in the same universe to fight them, or take some, I guess I don't have like 100% perfected storyboard idea of what would happen, because I'm not a writer, but this is just a little bit of what I would have done. Basically, either he wants a good fight, so he wants these two very powerful universes to meet up or just cause chaos and havoc, or wants some high level power source that he can get stronger, and he needs very powerful characters to do so. So we could have it where Goku and the Dragon Ball characters like the Z Fighters and stuff are fighting this guy, and he ends up as the fight progresses, he ends up creating a portal that he transports from the Dragon Ball universe to the DC universe, and they're trying to chase after him. And we can have like majority, not all of the Dragon Ball characters, but majority of the Dragon Ball characters end up in the DC comic universe. That would be pretty cool. Obviously, the characters you would need there is Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Boo, Gohan, maybe Krillin, Android 18, and possibly Bulma. I would say those are the 8 characters that would definitively need to be in that universe. So you could have them transfer and cross over to the DC universe, and then Goku, all of them wondering, what the hell, where the hell are we? And then all the humans, they could be like end up in Metropolis, and the citizens of Metropolis are like, who the hell are these weird people? We have like a giant ass green dude. We have this pink blobby creature. We have these guys with they look human, but they're dressed very funny. One guy has like battle armor, some weird type of battle armor. The other guy's wearing some weird gi type of stuff. So they're just like confused, where do these people come from? And then the Dragon Ball characters are also confused, like, where are we? Where are we ending up in? It seems like Earth, but it doesn't feel like our Earth. And then they can sense like countless different powerful energy sources on this Earth that is far different than theirs. Because in Dragon Ball's Earth, there's only a few select characters that are very powerful, and that's usually the Z Fighters themselves. but everybody else is really just regular humans. But in DC, they have countless, superpowered villains and superheroes that have different levels of power. So they'll be sensing countless different energies and different powers. So they'll be confused at what's happening. And as the Justice League sees this in the Watchtower, they're like, who the hell are these guys? Where the hell did they come from? And the main villain guy that led them there, he's hiding. He wants to see stuff unravel and he wants to cause some chaos and, some havoc. But he's waiting and stuff. And this is where we will have the development of the story and these characters and them getting to know each other. I think the most important or the coolest thing would definitely be the interaction between these characters. I think that's what I'll look forward to the most. So we have that. We see Batman, and Batman is just wondering who the hell these people are. And since Batman's kind of paranoid, he's like, these are random people that we've never seen before come through some random portal from possibly another world. We need to see if they're hostile, so he wants to go down there. So then the Justice League goes there. We have Superman, Batman, Flash, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow. Not Green Arrow. We can have Green Arrow there, I guess. Green Lantern, Aquaman, and I know in the new comics they put Cyborg as one of the guys, so I guess also Cyborg there. So we have the Justice League, the main Justice League cast come there to see what's happening. Goku, them are all like confused. Some of the people are really scared of like Boo and Piccolo because they have seen aliens, but these guys are still pretty weird looking. They're like, what the hell? And then the rest are like, what the hell is happening? So they're just confused. And then we have the arrival of the Justice League, and they come there to see who they are, and they're like, who are you guys? So they basically say, who are you guys? What are you guys here for? And talk to them. Now, the one thing I will say that will be a little bit hard to do is, especially if let's say they make an animated film off of this, how would you do them talking? Because we know in Dragon Ball, it comes from Japan since it's an anime, and even though these characters are not from like actually our Earth, and most of the other characters are aliens, they all speak Japanese for some reason, or most of them do. So they speak Japanese, and DC is it's an American comic book issue, so they speak English. So I think if they would do like a live an animated one, they should just have the English dub cast do it instead of them being like, oh, they speak Japanese and we speak English and we're gonna do this English Japanese thing. You could just have it where they speak English and just have the English dub cast do that. But for the comic, I think that's fine to do it the way they did it. So they come there, the Justice League introduces themselves and wants to know who they are. So they come in and they're like, who are you guys? Where are you guys from? And then Goku's like, they introduce themselves. Goku's like, my name is Goku, this is Vegeta, this is Piccolo, this is Gohan, this is Boo, this and that. We're from Earth. Who are you guys? Where are we? And then them being like, well, we're also from Earth. We're the Justice League. We've never heard of you guys. We want to talk to you guys. And then, both sides are a little bit like, they're iffy on who, if they can trust the other side. Vegeta be like, I don't know who the hell you guys are, and we're not wasting our time talking to you. Piccolo is also a little bit, he's a little bit like distanced. He doesn't know to trust if he can trust them. And then Batman, obviously being the paranoid one. Superman a little bit, but he's still welcoming enough to want to know what's happening. He's like, did you guys come here to fight? And the Goku's like, no, we just ended up here randomly. So they're like, okay, come with us. We want to talk to you guys. We're not here to fight. We just want to talk. So they're like, okay, cool, whatever. Goku's like, do you guys got any food to eat? Like, yeah, whatever. So he takes them to the Justice League headquarters. You see all the other superheroes there. They're all trying to wonder, who are these people? And then we have a little bit of conversation between them and say, who are you? How did you end up here? Like, we're from Earth. Just explain their backstory. And then I'm not going to go too in depth with it, but unless you guys want me to make a video about that in the future where, I give a whole in-depth version of what I want. But it just like, they meet up, they talk, and they talk about, how they got there, who they're fighting, and possibly have the guy resurrect old villains like Frieza, Cell, Kid Buu, all these other guys, and have them talk. Because I would love to see the interactions between those two. Like, for example, Goku would definitely want to fight Superman in a sparring thing, and I think Superman wouldn't mind fighting him as long as it doesn't get too crazy. And I think Goku would semi-enjoy it. The reason I say that is, one, he likes to fight powerful people, and Superman is definitely a powerful character, but I think he would also not enjoy it as much because though Goku does want to fight powerful beings, he also likes to have a good fight. And no offense to Superman, but he's not that great of a fighter. So if Goku did fight Superman, he wouldn't get too much out of that fight in a technical aspect, but more in just, a power aspect. So he'll probably like the power, the fight by the power, but I think the combat itself wouldn't intrigue him that much. I think who he would have a lot better of a, more enjoyable fight against would definitely be Wonder Woman. Not only is she very powerful, but she also is very good in hand-to-hand combat. So that would be more of challenging for him, not only on the power side, but also on the, skill and combat side. But definitely he would want to fight him. Vegeta would also want to fight, and they're like, what's with you guys in fighting? He's like, they just love, you have Bulma saying, yeah, they love battling. They can't control themselves. Whenever they see somebody powerful, they just have to fight, especially Goku. That guy's just, crazy about it. So that would be cool to see, Batman distrusting them and saying, these guys seem very powerful. They don't seem very dangerous. I think Batman's feelings towards Goku would be, this guy is he's kind of a fool, and he's kind of like, he's a little bit of an idiot, but he's not a bad guy. He seems like a nice guy. He seems kind of like Superman with, his personality. He seems very nice and carefree, but he doesn't seem too bright. And Vegeta, he would be like, this guy seems like he's, because Vegeta's personality is kind of like Batman's. He's kind of like similar to me, but he's also seems a little kind of aggressive, and he seems like he's a little temperamental, and he can't control himself very well. They'd be like, this seems like a man-child. And then Piccolo, I think definitely would be exactly like Batman. I think out of anybody, Vegeta's a lot like Batman, but Piccolo, he has another thing like Batman where, even though Batman's very serious and strict at times, he's not as angry as Vegeta. Vegeta is very aggressive, he's very angry, he can be very rude, and he can be very straightforward, which Batman can sometimes do that, but never to that extent. Whereas Piccolo, he does that, but he's usually more calm and tame. So I think Batman and Piccolo would be a lot closer. Goku and Superman will probably end up liking Goku. He's like, oh, he seems like a nice, carefree, fun guy. He just likes to, fight and stuff. Vegeta might be a little annoyed by Superman. He's just like Kakarot. He's just an annoying goody two-shoes. He might not like that. Wonder Woman, might be cool with them. Like, oh, these guys are actual warriors. They love fighting. They seem pretty interesting. So it'll be cool to see a little interaction. I know I was rambling on a little bit about this stuff. I'm not going to go into full depth with what I want to see. I just want to see a little bit of interaction. I want to see the personalities clash and how they feel about them. Definitely, I think Superman and the rest of the Justice League members would be a little bit off-put by, their thoughts on, fighting bad guys. For example, like Goku, he doesn't go after bad guys. He only goes after them with their big threats. And even then, he can sometimes be reckless. So Superman might be like, well, he seemed very carefree, but one, he doesn't really actively try to stop bad guys. And two, when he does fight bad guys, he sometimes let them go, but that's not because of, just being innocent, like me, where I just don't want to hurt somebody. He does it because he sees a challenge out of it, and he can be a little reckless. And then Vegeta, I think definitely Superman and Batman and Flash, they would not like it because he has no qualms about killing his enemies. They would be like, no matter what they did, you can't just go around killing people. Wonder Woman and Aquaman might be a little bit more okay with it, but even them, I think they'll be like, Vegeta and these guys are a little bit too crazy. They like fighting a little too much, and they're a little reckless. So yeah, that would be pretty cool to see, their interactions, their, what each of them thinks about each other. I think Vegeta might be a little bit annoyed by the situation, but he will probably respect them, especially Batman and Wonder Woman. He will definitely see them as people he can respect. Bulma will be nerding out and stuff, so it'll be cool to see all that stuff. That's just my thoughts and opinions on a crossover between, DC and Dragon Ball. I would really love to see it. I would love to see that crossover. I bet you if they announced that there's going to be a crossover between Dragon Ball and DC, that will blow up the internet. That would literally kill the internet. Everybody like, this is amazing. We can't wait to see it. Especially if they animated. Ooh. That's going to be crazy, but yeah, that's just my little bit synopsis and thought on that idea. I just want to talk about this because I've always thought about it, and I'll definitely think about it more after I'm done with this video. And if you guys do want to see me, make a video explaining fully about what I would want in that scenario, I'll definitely make a video on that. Also, I want to know in the comment section down below, would you guys want to see a crossover? What would you guys think about a crossover between, DC and Dragon Ball? And also, what do you guys think would the interactions would be like? What do you think Superman would think about these characters, or Batman, and what Goku would think about these guys and stuff? I think Vegeta might think that they're kind of lame that they're wearing, superhero suits. Gohan might be like, oh my god, the Great Saiyaman, I can join them and stuff. They're heroic and they dress like this and that. And Vegeta like, lame. Goku might also kind of think their costumes are a little lame because they kind of think superheroes are a little lame, but they will still be respecting them for what they do and the hard work and dedication. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. Once again, like I said, I want to know in the comment section, What do you guys think the interaction would be? Do you think it would be a cool idea, cool concept? What direction would you go with crossover between Marvel and DC? I just want to know your personal thoughts on this topic. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.